He's retired and has nothing to do in his life. It feels like because he spends more time talking to me than he's a sweet, sweet little guy. He's helped me with like a lot of projects and stuff, so I appreciate him. But there are also times when I'm like, I have to go to work, and we've been out here talking for an hour, and I'm going to be late at this point. So yeah, he's anxious to get it out of there. So whenever have a moment.
You have time this Sunday afternoon?
Sunday I work. This Sunday. I will be off the following Sunday. That would be the 14th.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I already have a roll of my treatments. Because I was assuming he hasn't done anything for that.
I'll bring my number.
Okay, sounds great.
I get into all schools.
Okay, that makes sense.
I get them, I put them in,
Okay. They probably need a good tackle. Because I was talking to him, so why don't you just go over and get them? I'm like, because I don't know what I'm doing yet. First of all. Second of all, I can guarantee that they have more ice. And I don't know how to treat for that yet. So I was a little worried about like them contaminating like my bees, but we're already past that point. So I guess that's not a problem anymore. So it's kind of a bummer. I haven't had 3 weeks that I'm dealing with the East Coast.
Well, I take that one. I know, I. I've done it.
What you do is, I think this is actually, this is a how. You get it, what the bees are doing. So. This is my latest We'll get started here in 30 seconds or so. We're about 5 minutes late. Just poke yourself. That's all. Go rush it in. All righty. Welcome everybody to the June Southeast Beekeeping Club meeting. I'll get all the words out. We've got a pretty good show tonight. So we're going to talk about mite life cycle treatment methods. We're going to break out into groups after the break. And of course, we'll have our other wonderful traditions that we go through. So we have a wonderful tradition, speaking of which. How many people here this is their very first time attending this meeting in person? Oh, we have a few. So we have a tradition, if you would not mind introducing yourself, tell us a little about yourself, where you are, whether you have any bees or not. Sure, that way everybody can see you.
All right, hi everybody, I'm Annie Fashman and I'm a brand new beginner. Really happy to be here. I don't have bees yet, but I'm learning a lot and just really enjoying the process. So
Fantastic.
I'm in the Denver Tech Center area, so suburban, and I have neighbors kind of on either side of me that are close that have bees and can help me out a little bit.
Oh, nice.
And
Good to have close
lots of
people.
gardens and flowers. Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you.
Sorry, I saw your hand.
I'm Tracy. I don't have any bees. This is my first time, of course, being here, just to get some information about bees themselves, to probably start later on. I actually live in Castle Rock. I am in the suburban area, so right now we don't have the capability of actually having bees, but that's for the future.
Welcome. Howdy.
My name is Jeff. This is my dad, Ed. We're in Elizabeth. We have 3 hives and we do okay, but we need to do much better.
Well, that's great. I've got 4. So you're doing better than me because you started with 3. Took me a few years to get up to 4.
Yeah.
Welcome. Oh, did we get it? Is there somebody else over there? Oh, this is your first time at the...
I came to the last meeting, you did not.
All righty, well then, go ahead and introduce yourself then.
I'm Dusty, I'm her husband, she's the beekeeper. I came to learn as much as she knows, so if she gets something wrong, I can fix it. Yeah, I know. We have 2 hives and this is our first time out.
Welcome. All right, welcome everybody. All right, so announcements. Thanks for keeping the Grange in a good condition. We get a great deal on this wonderful venue, and we want to keep a good relationship with the landlords. And thanks for helping put the chairs up, put them away, and put the garbage away at the end of the day. Also, if you've got books checked out, please be certain to return them in a timely manner so that others can enjoy. And I think we are also taking some donations on that to help us defer costs. So anything you can contribute would be appreciated. Thanks. So coming up, we've got some events that are occurring. The Bees and Butterflies event is happening June 27th at Pine Lane Nursery. If you want to be a part of that, we put a table out and we talk bees and answer questions to anybody who wants to know about bees. And what we find is people say, well, gee, I'm not sure. I don't know anything about bees. Well, if you're here in this meeting, you know more than 90% of everybody else, and you can help them to.
And we're also going to have kids' crafts there that day, so if you want to come and help at the craft table, that would be great.
You're gonna balloon animals?
And coming up in.
Can they sell honey there?
Can you sell honey there?
Yes.
So somebody said, okay, Chris says yes. So if you want to sell your honey, you can go there and you can sell honey there. Speaking of selling honey, the Parker Honey Festival is coming up in August. I think it's the first Sunday of August, August 2nd, from 8 to 1. We will also have a booth there, the club. And then if I'm not sure if they are still open for accepting other booths. They might be full up on that, but as a club member, if you want to participate and help with the booth, we're definitely looking for volunteers for that.
So when that says 2025, that's really this year, right?
Yeah. Apparently, I didn't change the year on that. That should be 2026. Everything else is correct, because I checked that. Thanks. We will not be having an in-apiary event in June. Our next one is going to be July 11th, Saturday, July 11th. And the topic to be determined. But if you want to get out and be with other members of your club and explore what we're doing within our apiary, and see how we manage the apiary, see how we manage the individual hives, and go through the whatever process we're going through, it's a great place to be and ask questions and learn firsthand. And typically, this is at the Parker Water, just north of C470. And we start at 10 o'clock. We have to go through a gate that opens and closes. So we need everybody to be there at 9:45 at the latest so that we can, all move through the gate at once. And then the gate closes behind us. So if you show up at 10:05 or 10:10, you won't be able to get through. So anyway.
I have a comment.
Comments, yes.
So at our apiary, we have an Ape and May hive, which is an insulated hive. We have a Langstroth hive, which is what most people around here have, the typical wooden hive with 10 frames in each box. And we now have a top bar hive. This was a, yay! This was a hive that was given to us a couple of years ago, and it sat at the apiary unused, and it became a mouse hotel. So we bribed 3-Gun, where is he? Into refurbishing it for us. So he brought it back tonight, and we'll be installing that soon as well. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks. So it's June. That's what everybody's hives look like, right? Well, anyway, we all hope our hives are like that. So this is June. What do we do during June? Well, we talk about mites. We think about harvesting, whether we, do any harvesting now or not. If we haven't, we're going to install supers, maybe queen excluders. It depends. But we can talk more about this, and hopefully our honey flow really is coming. Seems a bit deferred this year. All right, so we have some wonderful guests tonight from Rocky Mountain Bee Supply. Dolly and Leonard, thank you for coming. They're going to talk about mite life cycle and treatment methods. And if you wouldn't mind, a microphone. We've got 2 of them.
Okay. Are you both talking?
Yep. Yeah, we're a team.
Put that on.
How y'all doing? I'm going to throw up a whiteboard to kind of talk off of here. Oh, you didn't tell me this was magnetized.
Do you have a mic or do you need a mic? Oh, you got
I
one.
got one.
You got the easy one. I got the clippy one.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can put it on without turning it off. I'm famous for that.
Ooh,
I knew I was going to do that.
got it.
It's good. Still works.
Now we can start juggling.
I got to put this on first and then I'll do the next.
Okay.
Struggle is real. Okay.
Okay, we got a few things to work off of here.
You can't cover
Okay,
the
so I'm Leonard. This is my wife, Dolly. Of course, we're coming from Rocky Mountain Bee Supply. It's a beekeeping store down in Colorado Springs. And we give a lot of classes, and we give them both in our store, as well as we feel very honored to be coming out and being able to talk with different groups such as yourselves. Hands down, if I were to pick a club, you guys have one of the greatest clubs around here. So, so we're very honored that you asked us to come back to give this class again. This class is normally a 4-hour class, and I'm going to put my timer on so I don't go over. One of the issues that we have is, for 45 minutes to kind of condense this down. So, and be able to cater to everybody from brand new to you guys who are the most experienced beekeepers. So we're going to roll through this fairly quick, but as we go through, please ask questions as we go, and we'll be happy to answer them. So how many of you have mites? Yeah, all of us, right? If you're a beekeeper, you're probably a mite keeper as well. And it's become a global problem. They're everywhere. Australia was one of the last holdouts, and now they're neck deep into the fight with mites as well, okay? So it's not just the mites. The mites aren't the only concern. It's the viruses that the mites carry. So we're going to kind of go over that. There's multiple viruses out there, and that's what's going to kill your hive faster than what the mites will. So
We do hundreds of hive autopsies every year, and that's one of the reasons it has kind of enabled us to see some of the trends here going back about 5 years here in Colorado, when we started noticing a big increase in colony losses here, not just in where we're at in El Paso County, but other surrounding counties as well. And that's when we kind of started our whole program of doing hive autopsies. So if you're ever in a bind or you lose a colony, you can always give us a call. We don't charge for that. We do ask you to kind of make an appointment with us, and we would want you to bring in your colony intact. So don't clean it. We need the bottom board, the deep boxes with all the frames with all the dead bees in it. Just bring us the whole dead hive all together. Don't do anything to it. And what we do is we look at it with you, and we kind of try it. It's not 100% foolproof, but usually we can kind of do a very educated guess on what might have happened to your colony. It's a learning experience for you guys, but it's also a learning experience for us to kind of keep tabs on what's going on as far as colony losses and what role varroa mites are playing in colony losses here in our surrounding areas, close to El Paso County and surrounding counties. Now, one of the things that Leonard and I do every year is we do attend the North American Honeybee Expo in Louisville, Kentucky. It's usually the first week of January every year. It's one of the biggest bee expos in North America. That venue is where they have a lot of the finest minds in beekeeping, and they do a lot of classes there. And so we get to see classes with Randy Oliver, with Dr. Cameron, just all of the different people who are researching varroa mites and other topics as well. And we kind of like to keep up to date on what the latest research is showing, and what are the latest things that we as beekeepers can do to help keep our colonies healthy. Nobody likes to lose colonies, and here in Colorado especially. So that's kind of what we do, and we want to pass that on to you guys. So if you need us, please call us, or you can call us, you can email us, you can come by the store and ask us questions if you're stuck or anything. That's what we do. There's never any stupid questions at Rocky Mountain Bee Supply. That's what we're there for. We're there to help you guys be successful beekeepers. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you ever need us, we'll always be there for you.
So like Dudley said, this is a constant evolution, right? We're constantly learning about these mites. And believe it or not, there's another mite that's inbound, and it's called the tropiolaps. And we're not going to get into tropies right now because they're not here, but we're going to talk about Varroa destructor. Did you bring Vladimir?
Vladimira. I made him rename her. Isn't she cute?
So for those of you who are brand new, and I know there's a couple of you in here, that this is a 3D model of what a Varroa destructor mite looks like. And this is the equivalent size for a human being. So imagine this attached to you. It's feeding off of your fat body, which is your bee's fat body, but for us, that would be our liver. And just imagine this thing feeding off your liver, how healthy you're going to be. And then it starts spreading viruses to you. This is the critter that we're combating here. So if you had asked us to, our class 5 years ago has changed from 3 years ago, which is even getting more and more stringent now. And let me explain why our class and our treatment method keeps getting tighter. Before I start, though, we are treatment beekeepers. So I want to be upfront about that. How many of you are treatment-free or natural beekeepers?
We
Okay.
won't throw erasers.
Yeah, I mean, so the treatment-free and natural beekeepers, there's a lot to learn from them. They are working at the same problem just from a different angle. And you can still learn a lot from them. So I do not ever want to knock natural or treatment-free beekeepers because we're all in this game together to learn from each other. And I think they're going to have the ultimate solution through evolution, right? The issue is, I don't think I'm going to see it in my lifetime. So my approach and Dolly's approach is we approach beekeeping same as basic animal husbandry. If we have a cow, we have a barn for it, we're feeding it, we're vaccinating it, we're taking care of it. That's how we approach our bees. We do the same thing for our bees. So to get into that, I just want to be fair up front of we're coming from the angle of we're treatment beekeepers. We treat. So on this quick chart, we're going to kind of talk through this here real quick. This is 10,000 up to 70,000 bees. Down here, of course, is January through December, okay? So your bees, if you overwinter with your bees, normally they overwinter with about 30,000 bees, right? At the height of the summer, they're going to get up here about 70,000 bees. And around October, November, they're going to reduce back down to about 30,000 to go into the winter. My bell curve wasn't too pretty there. But your bees are always in an expansion or contraction phase, right? And we're always talking for new beekeepers to understand that each time you get in there, you're seeing something different. You're either seeing that rapid buildup or you're going to see that slow decrease back down to 30,000 as they prepare for winter. Now, here's the issue is we all have mites. We know it, right? They come with packages. They come with nukes. They come from your neighbors. Even if you treat your hive down to 0%, but there's a hive down the road that's hasn't been treated or has a high mite load, your bees are going to go over there. They're going to get those mites. They're going to bring them back. So this becomes a never-ending process. So there's always a threshold of bees or mites on your bees. Now, what we've observed is as my bees do a rapid buildup during the springtime, which they're in right now, my mites do a rapid buildup right with them based on that population, right? Now, as my bees, pass the summer solstice and we're starting to slow down and they're just, through natural attrition, they're starting to drop their numbers, what we've observed is my mites don't drop. They kind of go steady state. And when we see that, we get out of balance with the host-parasite relationship. And we've experienced it. We hear it a lot from fellow beekeepers of, but that was my strongest hive. Why did it die? And usually those hives are going to crash right around this phase right here, around that December time frame. Why do they crash? During this phase, where are the majority of your mites on? They're on unbrood, drone brood. Drone brood is what they prefer. So if I did a mite test or a mite count early spring, it's still slightly skewed because I'm testing 300 nurse bees, right? But the majority of my mites are really on the drones. Now, after this, they start dropping down in numbers here. What happens? Those mites now shift over to my workers. Why? Because the drones, there's no need for drones, so there's less and less drones. And what happens to the drones that they have one purpose in life, that's to breed with a virgin queen, right? Well, there's no need for them going into the fall. So there's fewer and fewer, and you're going to start seeing them kicked out of the hive, right? So that's when the mites are now going to shift over to my workers. Now, here's the difference. My workers this time of year, what's their life expectancy? Anybody? 40, 45 days, right? Because they're summer bees, and they only live so long because they have to work hard to forage. These workers are starting to hatch out here in August, September. Guess what? Those are my winter bees. What's their life expectancy? Yeah, about 5 months, right? So they have a different fat body content. They got to carry the hive through the winter. Now, they don't have to forage. They don't have to work so hard. That's why they have a longer lifespan. But those workers, if they get infected, they're not going to make it through the winter, right? So what can we do about this as far as from a treatment standpoint? What Dolly and I learned is we do 3 treatments out of the year that we have to do. And the most critical one that we do is what we call our winter treatment. And we just started this a few years back. And I'm telling you, it's really proven to be a high success for us. So winter treatment, there's only one treatment you could do in the middle of the winter. Any guesses? Oxalic acid vapor, right? Because we don't want to open up the hive. We don't want to be manipulating the bees in the middle of the winter. But an oxalic acid vapor, one single treatment is highly effective. The limitation for oxalic acid is it doesn't penetrate cap brood, right? So this is one of those vaporizers. One of the limitations, it doesn't penetrate cap brood. But what happens in the middle of winter? There's little to no cap brood. So a single treatment is highly effective, right? And what we've learned is it sets our threshold for spraying extremely low. Now, what's going to happen is my bees start building up. Even though this is a low threshold, they're still going to start building up as well. Then we hit them with our primary springtime treatment. And our springtime treatment is April, end of April, beginning of May. And what's going to happen is they're going to build up. We're going to hit them with that primary treatment in the springtime, and it knocks them back down. Now, I try and avoid any kind of treatment June, July, August. Okay, any guesses why? Yeah, that's when my honey supers are on. Now, there's a couple treatment methods. I'm going to turn over to Dolly to talk about these treatment methods. There's a couple that are approved when your honey super's on. But a personal goal of ours is never to treat if we're going to consume our honey or we're going to be selling our honey. So personally, we don't treat during those months. So we try and avoid those months. Guess what happens? Those mites, they'll start building up again. And then we hit them with our fall time treatment. Now, you guys might be a little bit different up here. Usually down by the springs, most beekeepers are starting to harvest around Labor Day, give or take a week, right? So as soon as we pull those honey supers off around Labor Day, that's when we go ahead immediately hit them with that fall time treatment. And what that does, it knocks them back down. And guess what? They go into steady state. When they go into steady state like that, now we have a much healthier host-parasite relationship. And what we've discovered is they'll overwinter a whole lot better for us this way. Now, everybody's going to ask, well, what type of treatment do we use? There's a plethora of treatments out there. And I'm going to turn it over to Dolly to kind of talk about. And as we go through them, we're going to talk about each one. The wintertime, the only thing you could use, oxalic acid vaporizing. When it comes to oxalic acid vaporizing, if all you have is a couple hives, this thing is pretty darn expensive, right? The acid itself is super cheap. Dolly has the acid. When you do go for the acid, though, make sure you get EPA certified acid. There are acids that you can get off of, if you went to, it's just wood bleach. So if you went to Ace Hardware, you could get acid. But a lot of those have impurities in them. They'll also clog up your vaporizers, kind of cause havoc with you. Highly recommend go with one that's EPA certified. Easy Ox is one of those. There's 3 that are certified. Easy Ox is the one that's made in the U.S. Mike is the owner. He Vietnam veteran, just phenomenal guy. But there's a couple ways to apply oxalic acid. One is the vapor. Okay. Once you're pushing about 6 hives, this thing will pay for itself the first year. Okay. So to break into a vaporizer, usually you're starting about $350 up to $500, $550 for some of these. The bigger ones, they're just faster. That's all it is. This one has a dual burner, 27 seconds, it vaporizes, and we're moving on to the next hive, right? So it's a time thing. If all you have is a couple, you can go with the smaller ones with a single burner. Just as effective, might take 10 seconds more. You know, at that point, doesn't make that big of a difference, right?
The dosage of oxalic acid too has changed. So we're getting a lot of questions about that. In the past, kind of what the guideline was is you could use 1 gram of oxalic acid per deep box, okay? Well, the UK's have been using 2.5 grams for over a decade with pretty good success. Well, a couple of years ago, Dr. Cameron out of the University of Florida did a study, and they set up about 4 different yards. They had a control yard that they didn't treat at all, and then they have one where they used, I believe, 1 gram per box, another yard with 2 grams, and another one with 4 grams, I believe. And guess which one did better? Any guesses? 4 grams, yeah. So what does that tell us? It told us that oxalic acid works, but we weren't using enough of it to be effective. So that's kind of what cued the creation of these vaporizers, because how many of you have the old wand style that maybe if you could cram 2 grams in it, you're doing good, right? But it takes a while to burn it. Well, with the new guidelines in, and that's kind of why if you look at this, we had just gotten these in. They just changed the guidelines on the oxalic acid here.
The EPA approved the 4 grams, I think in October of 25.
Yeah, they were dragging their feet on it, but they finally did it. But these new vaporizers now can hold up to 4 grams on the syringes. I'll let Leonard kind of show you. So with the old pan style wands, you could maybe get 2 grams in them. These you can get 4 grams. So you can treat one deep box with 1 syringe of that. If you have to treat 2 deeps, you would do 2 applications back to back with that. Which if you have more than 3 hives, or you're short on time. That makes it a lot more convenient, a lot quicker to treat your hives. That was one of the drawbacks with oxalic acid vaporization is it took a while, especially if you had multiple hives. Well, these new vaporizers that came out, they're a game changer, and they're all adapted for those guidelines to treat up to 4 grams. I get asked a lot, how much oxalic acid can we use? We don't know yet. That's ongoing research. So that was kind of one of the things that they were thinking about doing a study on was how much oxalic acid can we use before we see any harm to the colony. But what we do have to remember is throughout all these studies, we haven't seen any resistance to oxalic acid. Why? It's an organic acid, okay? So that's one of the things that they are looking at. So research is continually ongoing, which is good. Especially in the wake of the trophy-laelaps mite that's coming. Another product that they came out, if any of you are fans of Randy Oliver, and if you haven't, I encourage you to go on his website. It's scientificbeekeeping.org. He's a brilliant, brilliant man. He's a biologist, and he's kind of taken this on as a personal journey, if you will, to help us, all of us backyard beekeepers, try to understand, varroa mites, their life cycle, and how to manage them. So he was doing a lot of research on extended release oxalic acid, and he was using Swedish dishcloths with a mixture of oxalic acid and glycerin. And what the glycerin does, when oxalic acid, as an acid at dry form, it's inert. You can touch it, nothing's going to happen. Once it gets wet, it activates, right? So the glycerin was used to activate the oxalic acid. What the oxalic acid does is varroa mites have little, kind of like little bubbles on the balls, on the bottom of their little foot pads. And when the oxalic acid gets into that bubble, it gets into their bloodstream, basically sends them into cardiac arrest. That's how it kills them. So it's effective, but it doesn't harm the honeybees, right? So on that research now, they've come out with extended release oxalic acid. And this is one of the products that does that. It's called Viroxan. And it is like cardboard strips that are impregnated with a mixture of glycerin that activates the oxalic acid. So these are ready to go. And so the way you apply these is there's 20 in a pack. For hobbyist beekeepers, and I've trust me, I gave them my 2 cents at Nobby. I was like, you need to make smaller packs for hobbyist beekeepers. There's 20 packs, 20 strips in here. You would use 4 in your bottom deep, and if you have an upper deep, you would use 2. Okay, so that's 6. If you have 1 hive, you're gonna have a lot of leftovers, right? So you could share it with another beekeeper. It would be nice if they made them in a smaller package, but the idea of this is really nice. These go in, well, the shelf life, as long as you keep the air out of it, is indefinite. But if you don't, then it dries out, then not so long. So that's why I'm kind of pushing for them to do a smaller packaging with it, but we'll see what they do. But anyway, this is a really convenient way to treat them. So basically you apply it on, it has to stay on there for 4 to 6 weeks, and then you take it off, okay, and that's your treatment. So if you're somebody that didn't want to invest in one of the vaporizers, but you still wanted to use OA, oxalic acid, which is one of the most gentle things you can use on your bees, then something like this is kind of an idea following Randy Oliver's research.
Yep. So these you can see where I'm right. You guys may not be able to at that angle, but in the winter, really the vapor is your only option in the winter. But spring and fall, this one works very well. It's also approved for use during when you have your honey supers on. Now there's a caveat to that. You have to have a box between your treatment box and your honey super that doesn't have any kind of treatment in it to be able to use that on there. So, but it is approved for use. So Viroxin and Formic are the 2 that are approved, and we'll talk through those. But like I said, as a personal goal, we don't do it.
Okay. And oxalic acid is considered an organic treatment. So there's 3 different types of treatments. There's the organics, and oxalic acid falls into that. Formic acid falls into that. Apogard, which is made from the thyme plant, thymol being active, that's considered an organic. The second type is a synthetic. That's like a man-made one. So something like Apovar strips would be considered that, or I think Kumafos is one. I don't think they use that anymore. And then the newest ones are the biologics, and I'll talk about those here in a second. So there's the 3 different types: organic, synthetic, and biologic. Another one that is considered an organic
One quick question for you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The limited use that I've experienced with these is toward the end of that 4 to 6 weeks, getting them out of the hive.
Yeah.
They are disintegrating.
Yeah.
And falling down to the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great point.
Great point.
We've experienced that, and
Yeah.
we've heard that from several beekeepers.
So I go wait in the car while I let the other person.
Pick out all the little pieces.
The good news is
But you're hearing that.
yeah.
Yeah, and we've experienced
Yeah.
it too. So there's nothing up here that we talk about that we don't personally use, and we've had the same experience. Sometimes they'll glue it to that frame, and it becomes a pain in the butt to pull off. I agree with you.
Is there a way to mitigate that?
So they're coming out with a new product. So the guy who makes the gentleman Mike, who owns Easy Ox, is coming out with a different type of strip. It's more of like a pad. I've got it in my hot little hands. I've got to put it on a hive to see what it does. We're going to try it out. But they're coming
to lay on top of the frame.
Yeah, not in them, and they're going to be a lot easier to remove. So we'll see. Jury's still out. I haven't tried it yet, but it's supposed to be coming out this year. So we're looking forward to seeing how that one will perform compared to the Viroxan. So you're still going to get the benefits of the oxalic acid, but it's going to be more of something that's easier to kind of remove and not like you're in there with your hive tool, making it.
Will it be a delayed release as well?
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of patterned after the Swedish dishcloth material. I felt it. It looks like it's a good product, but I want to see what it does, and I haven't put it on my hives yet, so we'll see.
Do you have to learn Swedish?
No. No. Yes.
So Vance, what I found is you take 2 hive tools, it's like chopsticks, you put them down between the frames, and you kind of grab. the cardboard strip disintegrated by both sides, and you can sometimes pull it out. It's the chopsticks.
I'll tell the people I'm mentoring. I'll go wait in the car.
Veronica?
Isn't the peroxisome more of a maintenance than a knockdown?
It's actually considered a treatment form. It just kind of depends on if you're using anything else with it, because you can use other things and use oxalic acid too. So it just kind of depends on what your goals are and what your treatment plans are and what works for you. Because what may work for somebody else may not be working in your apiary. So that's something you kind of have to play with and determine.
And if we have time after we talk through these, we'll talk about how to do a mite count and when we recommend a mite count. We do recommend a mite count before and after the spring treatment and before and after your fall treatment. The before is to understand where your threshold is. The after is to confirm or deny whether or not that treatment was effective. Something that we've learned from working with fellow beekeepers, they'd come in and say, we did our treatment, why did they die? And we'd go through the hive autopsy. What we found were there were a multitude of variables that could cause it not to be an effective treatment. So now we do a follow-up, or we recommend a follow-up mite count after the treatment to make sure it was a valid treatment, because sometimes your threshold might still be above where it should be, and you have to do a follow-up treatment. So,
Dolly, do you think those pads are any cheaper than the
price
point on the Veroxan?
I won't know yet.
Okay.
I will. You guys will be the first to know when I know, and I'll have my little butt up there at the expo in January, and I will be in the middle of it, reporting straight to you. So, yeah. So if you guys get a chance, we do that a lot on Facebook when we're at the expo. We run around and talk to everybody and interview everybody. So.
and if you guys could ever go to an expo, that is a fabulous one to go.
Louisville. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Louisville, in
January.
January, 7th through the 9th this year.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal. It's 3 days just packed. You will not see everything in 3 days. It is absolutely amazing.
I encourage you guys, if you want to go, buy your tickets now because they sell out every year. And I think it's if you Google it, it's nahbe.com, I believe is the website. But you can Google North American Honeybee Expo and it'll come up and you can buy your tickets there. But it is a lot of fun.
If you fly in, the airport's right there too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So kind of going through some of the other ones that we have here. So the Apogard tins, this is thymol, which is from the thyme plant. This kind of looks like Vaseline in it. And the way you apply this is you put 1 tin into the hive for 2 weeks. Then you take it out and replace it with a fresh one for 2 to 4 more additional weeks. Then you remove it. That is your treatment series. So it takes 2 of these to treat 1 hive. If you've got a couple of hives, this is a pretty economical option. But if you got more, it can be a little pricey. It could add up over time. The caveats with this is, and with any of these treatments, is you've got to read the directions on them. Some of them have temperature parameters on them, so they don't work well in either cold temperatures or high temperatures. They can be very caustic to your bees. This one, if the average mean temperature outside the hive is below 60, this stuff hardens up. And then it's not effective. Your bees have to crawl through this for it to get rid of the mites. And if it hardens up, it's not going to get on your bees, and so it won't work. So that's one of the cons on this. One of the pros is it's effective, and if you just have 1 or 2 hives, it's pretty economical.
So if you push pretty late into the fall and those temperatures are dropping, Apogard may not be an option for you.
Okay.
And we'll always say follow the instructions. Don't modify the instructions. A lot of people ask, well, which one's better? They're all very good. They all have a 94, 96% drop rate, so you're not going wrong with any of these treatments. It's really what's the most economical for you as a beekeeper. If you have just 1 hive, I'd probably say go with Apogard. If you have 5 or 6 hives, I would say go with this bad boy because it'll pay for itself the first year. So it's not that one is better than the other, it's which one is more applicable to you for your situation.
Another product they have is formic acid. This is also considered an organic. However, it's not as gentle as oxalic acid is. This one's a little bit on, if you were to kind of compare treatment options on the scale of very gentle to very caustic, this one's going to be pretty caustic. And it can vary in its causticness. It has two different application methods. So with formic acid, I believe the first method is the most caustic method, and that has you put both, there's two pads in here, okay? It has you put both pads on at the same time. And I would say if you're trying to rescue a hive on the brink of losing it, it's infested with mites, and that's your Hail Mary, this would probably do the trick. However, what can happen is if you're not following the directions, if the temperatures are too high, you can get a lot of gas off with this. And it can kill a bunch of bees, it can kill your queen, or it can sterilize your queen. So usually, unless you're dealing with something that's infested and you want to use formic acid, it's a great product. We recommend application method number 2, which is 1 pad for 10 days, take it out, put another pad in for 10 more days, then take it out. That's the gentler method to use formic acid. It's very effective. It's a great product, but you have to read the directions. And this one, I believe, if it gets above 85 degrees, it is not good to put in there.
So that one, watch in the springtime. I mean, for those people down in Canyon City, Pueblo, we always warn them, watch those temperatures. If it gets really hot, it'll start to gas off and you're going to have some problems, right? Fall time, not so much of a problem with formic. Formic is also approved for use with your Honey Supers on. So there's only 2 that we're going to show you that are approved with Honey Supers on.
Open that for me.
This one's one of the newest, latest, and greatest to just.
Yeah, this one has been in the radar for about over 10 years. I've been doing research. It's called Naroa, and this is the first biologic product that came out on the market this year. And basically what it is it's birth control for mites. If I had to kind of describe it, it would be the pill. But basically what it is it's an mRNAi, and it's impregnated in 1-to-1 sugar water. And the ingredient in it is called vadiscana. And that is what causes the founder's mite or the mama mite to become sterile. The way it is used, the way it is applied is this is a big sticker here, and you put both of these, there's 2 in a pack, so you need 2 per hive. And you're going to put it on your brood nest. You're going to put both on. You peel this back, you press down to let the syrup come up, and then your bees will eat it and they'll store it in the brood food. Now there's some caveats with this, okay? You cannot do this during a nectar flow, because if you do it during a nectar flow, guess what's going to happen? It's going to dilute it. It's not going to work. If you can't do it if you're internally feeding your bees, because it's going to dilute it and it's not going to work. So you want to put it on early enough in the season when there's not a natural nectar flow and you're not feeding, okay? What this does is it keeps your mite level wherever you're at in a steady state. So with something like Naroa, you want to start feeding this when you already have a low mite count. So you might want to determine what your threshold for mites is. And with Leonard and I, it's 2%, okay? We want a 2% or below threshold of mites, and that's what we consider safe, okay? You might be above that or below that. You know, you have to determine where you are. But wherever your mite threshold is when you begin to feed this is what's going to keep it at that steady state. So it's better to have an already low threshold then feed the Naroa. It takes about, it says on the package 4 to 5 days for them to consume it, but in our hives, they'll suck it down in like 2 to 3 days because they ain't nothing to eat. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I'm spending a lot of money at Costco. So they'll suck it down, and then once they store that in the brood nest, that's what's going to control your mite and keep them at a steady state for about 18 weeks. which is pretty phenomenal, right? So this can be used in the spring, and this can be used in the fall as a treatment, but you got to plan it out, okay? So one of the things you got to know is before you put this on, you'll want to check your mite count, and the best way to do that is with an alcohol wash. All right, I think I covered almost all the medications.
We're hitting just the wave tops.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, it has a longer efficiency. So if you do it properly and you follow the directions, it gives you 18 weeks of coverage for your mites, meaning you should be okay until your fall treatment. And then if you want to, you can feed it in the fall as well. But with the caveat of you're checking your thresholds to make sure that you're where they want to be. With this kind of a biologic, it's very important to kind of remember as a beekeeper that if you're going to use a product like this, you've got to kind of get in that mindset where you're going to have to learn how to do a alcohol wash and perform those on before and after you do. I recommend you do that with any product. This one you kind of really have to do it. But what the mite count does is that gives you a snapshot in time of what your mite load is in your hive. But that way you're not just blindly treating and you don't know and you're like, well, I put something on them, I'm good, I'm golden. No, I can tell you sometimes that doesn't work. So I don't know if you guys heard about it, but a couple of years ago out in California, they had a bunch of colonies that they lost them. But like a mile down the road, another commercial beekeeper was absolutely fine. He wasn't affected. And they didn't know what was going on. So all the researchers rushed out there and they were trying to figure out what was causing these losses. There was no rhyme or reason to any of it. Well, what they found out was the beekeepers who were losing their colonies were using Apivar.
This one.
Apivar is known as amitraz. That's the ingredient amitraz in it. What happened is the mites built up a resistance to it. It's a synthetic, okay? And the commercial beekeepers were using that. Again, anytime you use something, there's going to be about 4 to 6% of your mites that aren't going to succumb. You're always going to have a mite load in there. It might be really small, but you're going to have them. And so that's kind of what happened is the mites built up a resistance and those beekeepers lost their colonies. So just to kind of keep that in mind.
So we've stopped carrying amitraz. That was not this almond production, the previous one.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of friends that take bees out there. They're commercial beekeepers, and we're always in tune with them of, hey, what's happening? What are you guys seeing out there? And because whatever's happening out there, it all comes this way to Colorado once all those nukes or packages and commercial hives are coming back this way. So sooner or later, it comes back to us. We watch for things like amitraz resistance, and we're also watching for what viruses. The two biggest viruses that we've seen consistently for the last 5 years has been deformed wing virus, which is one of the deadliest, and acute paralysis. Those two have been the most common that we've seen along the Front Range. Why is deformed wing virus one of the most deadly? Any guesses? Because it Yep. So it vectors two different ways. That's why it's so dangerous. So viruses can vector either one direction, meaning that mite is sick, and that mite makes that bee sick, right? That's a linear vector. If it's vectoring two ways, think of bubonic Black Death, right? That mite's effect of infecting that female worker bee, and once she gets sick, now she's infecting all her sisters. That's why it spreads so rapidly for deformed wing virus. Usually the first call we get is, hey, I got a bunch of bees walking around like zombies in front of the hive. What's going on? It's because they're getting kicked out of the hive. They can't fly, right? And that's usually the first indicator, and that's when we start looking for those deformed wings. And when you look at the deformed wings, they'll look like little twigs. They're not formed wings. And if you start seeing that, you got to get on top of that. So if And does anybody know, is there any treatment for viruses? No, there's no treatment, right? So the only way that we can combat a virus is allowing that queen to outbreed that virus. So early spring is one of the most critical times if you think that there's going to be a virus present, is knock that threshold of mites as low as possible, because during this rapid buildup, your queen's laying 2,000 eggs a day. And she can outbreed that virus if she has all the conditions met. Good nutrition, good amount of bees, and she's well taken care of. She can outbreed that virus. So that's why it's so critical in the springtime. Now, fall time is just as critical so that, we get our winter workers through winter healthy, but they can't outbreed the virus come fall time. It's too little too late at that point, okay? So how do we do a mite count? Do you guys want to go over that real quick? We got a couple minutes. Okay. There's a couple ways to do a mite count, and then we're going to have a quiz afterwards. So
With prizes.
So there's different types of tools out there to do mite counts. This one is one of the most common ones out there. It's called the Easy Check. You could do both an alcohol wash or a sugar roll method with this. The most effective count is going to be through an alcohol wash. Sugar roll will get you in the ballpark, but it won't. The mites are up under the serrations of the bee, won't release, so you're not always getting the most accurate count with sugar roll. So we're going to talk just the alcohol wash right now. To do this, what you need is to get set up. This is Dolly's little setup right here. She likes to use a tub just like this with rounded corners is ideal. So a little Tupperware tub, and then she has a half cup measuring cup.
That's
right?
not in here because somebody took it.
So, but yeah, we've been married how many years?
36.
And she actually, now she puts her name on all her tools, and I'm not allowed to touch them.
It doesn't help.
She has a hive tool that says Dolly's effing hive tool. Yeah, and I'm not allowed to touch that one. It's engraved in it.
And it's missing.
Yeah. No, it's in the truck. So a little tub like this works great with rounded corners and a half cup measuring cup. And what we'd like to do, the reason we do that, there's different methods, but we'll take a frame with nurse bees on it. Now, the one bee that cannot be on that frame is the queen, of course, right? And we'll take that frame and we'll thump it hard into this little tub, right? And most of those nurse bees just clump down in there. That's how you're able to scoop them up with that half cup measuring cup. A half cup measuring cup is approximately 300 bees.
And you've got measurements. Some of these kits that you can buy will have the half cup measure on it, so you can use it as a measuring. And for the alcohol, the higher percentage you can get of isopropyl alcohol is better. I got this one during COVID, and 70% was all I could get because it was hard to get. But if you can get the 90%, there's other stuff you can use like Windex or something.
98%'s available.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And I just.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So you will need some alcohol.
So, and you're going to fill up your test kit, yay high. You'll see the marking on here. You fill it up with your alcohol. And inside here, it's a two-part. So it's basically a cup with a little basket, with open holes in it. And you're going to take that half cup measuring cup of nurse bees and you're going to dump them in here. Now, it's going to kill your sample. So you're killing 300 bees. And I know that really crushes a lot of people. Keep in mind your queen's laying 2,000 eggs a day and they'll be okay. But it does bother people. You're going to dump them in there. You're going to put the lid on. You're going to give it a good shake. Usually we'll give it a good shake. We like to set it down. We'll finish up whatever hive inspection we're going to do. We do that last little bit of shake. And what's going to happen is all the mites are going to release from the bees. They're going to filter through that little basket, and you hold this up, and they're going to be all along the bottom of your cup here. And all you got to do is count the mites on the bottom of the cup, right? Oh,
You're out of time.
I'm out of time. Oh, no. And you count the mites. Now, how many mites is too many mites? So everybody has a different threshold. So this is one of those trick questions, right? Of how many is a threshold that you're going to treat. Dolly and I go by 2%. That means, where'd my 2% go? 2% threshold. That means 6 mites. If we're counting 6 or below, we'll probably keep monitoring that hive. If we're counting above that, we're going to definitely immediately treat them. Now,
We treat them anyway. We treat them the 3 times a year. But if before or after we do a treatment series, whatever that treatment is, if we do that follow-up mite count and we still have a high threshold, I'm going to do something else. I'm not going to just let them sit. So I might do, yeah.
How long after you treat them do you wait to do this?
You can, I recommend doing it probably about a day or 2 after.
to get your mite count?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your follow-up mite count?
Yeah.
And then you could just follow up with whatever treatment at that point.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
In January, you do one.
You can do just one. So in the spring and the fall time, you'll want to do a series because at that time you have brood. And in order to break the brood cycle, you have to do an oxalic acid treatment like once a week for 3 weeks or once a week for 4 weeks to break that cycle of the mite, right? With every group of baby bees that hatches, you're eventually going to hit them because remember, oxalic acid cannot penetrate cat brood. That's why you have to do the series. Now in January, you shouldn't have any brood, so one should be sufficient. But if you're feeling froggy and you want to hit them again, it's not going to hurt them. Like I said, it's the most gentle thing you can use on your bees, but you have to use the vaporizer. We rent them out at the store because we have a lot of people that need to do that winter treatment, but they don't want to pay for a vaporizer. So, you know, as a club, I don't know if y'all rent out a vaporizer, but I would encourage you, you know, maybe go in with a group of you to get one and then share it. Yeah.
You said once a week for 4 weeks, but
What?
I thought it had to be
so,
every 4 or 5 days for 5 days.
so yeah, there's 2 common ones out there. One is 3 treatments 7 days apart. And usually that's the easiest of every Saturday for 3 Saturdays in a row. Another is 4 treatments 5 days apart. Really, the concept, the why behind it is you're breaking that 21-day hatching cycle. So all those bees are under the cappings. Each time you do that next treatment, as they're emerging, they're getting treated. But yeah, the most common is 3 treatments 7 days apart or 4 treatments 5 days apart. If you do more than that, you're not going to hurt them. There's no such thing as over-treating them. So a couple of fun questions.
Real quick.
Yes, sir.
On the InstaVape, I switched from the Florida Labs Oxalic to your red bag. That stuff is so dry, no humidity in there. I can't get it to stay in the syringe. You know the problem. I'm like,
So take like a little cap full, like a water bottle cap, or maybe a teaspoon of water, just a teeny bit, and pour it in your bag of oxalic acid. Then put your syringe in, and that'll give it just enough moisture to pack into your syringe, but not a lot, just real sparingly.
Yeah, just enough.
Yes.
So the mites are actually under the brood cap?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where they get in, and that's where I wish we had the time to show you the life cycle of the mite. Just in a nutshell, basically, you want to talk through it when the foundress mite gets in?
So basically, when your bee brings in a mite from another hive, or she's, you know, bees are notorious for going where they shouldn't be. She'll look for a day 8 or 7, 8 before cell that is fixing to be capped. That's what she's looking for. She goes down into the brood food and she buries herself in that royal jelly, and she sticks up her little proboscis breather tube. And she hides in there until the bees cap that cell over. Once the bees cap it, she comes out of the food, she attaches to the pupae of the baby bee, right? And she starts feeding on it. She'll cut open a slit, she'll start feeding. Then she lays a son, okay? Then she lays several daughters. The son mates with the daughters, and they breed underneath that capped brood. So by the time that bee hatches, you've got several mites in that cell.
That could be 7, 8, it
Yeah.
could be several of them.
Yeah. If you guys are interested, we will be doing our Varroa mite class this fall, and we will be doing it again in the spring. So if you want to take that class with us, you're more than welcome to come sign up for it. We should have the classes up on the website for this fall and spring in a couple of weeks. But you're more than welcome to come down and take that class. I do a really deep dive. It's about a 4 hour?
4 hours.
4 hour class.
So we're going to have a little fun. While we were driving up here, I asked Ollie to come up with a couple questions. So this is going to be the quiz time, but you get prizes. So Scott's a good friend of ours. He does Swarm Commander. He always sponsors our classes. So we have two hats. So whoever answers these questions, what's the first question?
The first question is, and raise your hand if you know the answer, what does the Varroa mite feed on? What does the Varroa mite feed on?
Yep.
There you go.
Yep,
All
the
right.
fat body. And the fat body really is just like our human liver. And that's why it's so critical to their health. We got one more hat going.
All right. So how can the viruses that Varroa mites carry spread amongst honeybees inside a colony? How do they spread?
2 ways, either directly from the Varroa mite to the bee or from bee to bee.
Perfect.
That's perfect.
Awesome.
All right.
And what does anybody know that, what we call that? Anybody? Trophallaxis. So when the bees feed each other, that's how they spread that. All right. Next one.
We got some Easy Ox from Mike's Bees.
Is it feeding off the glucose or the glycogen in the liver?
I have no
So it's
idea.
not the liver, it's
the
their fat bodies.
Yeah.
But it's the equivalent of a human liver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Which method of determining a mite count in a colony is considered the most accurate? Which method?
Who is first? Yep.
There we go.
There we go. Yep.
All right.
I'm trying to watch which hand goes up first, so
You
I'm
got a bunch of
sorry if
people in the back over there.
if I was too slow on that one.
Okay.
The next one is a Varroa check. So hopefully somebody will be able to put this to good use.
Okay. Which cells do the founderous mites prefer to breed in?
I would have to prove 7 to 8 days.
Yeah, so they prefer to get into the drone brood early on, right? And does anybody really know why they prefer the drone?
It's a bigger cell, they can create more mites.
There you go.
Exactly. And the gestation period's different, right? So gestation period's 2 days longer as well. So, and the studies are out too of whether or not there's some kind of pheromone that attracts the mites that you know, we're still learning all about that. So.
All right. Last one is we've got a cute candle in here and some, I believe, yeah, I guess it's in there, and some stickers made by, we have 2 wonderful, wonderful employees, John and Zach, and they make candles all winter, so they made a beautiful candle in there and packed it in there for me. So for that one, which compound is naturally occurring organic dicarbolic acid found in many plants, commonly known for its effective as a heavy-duty cleaning and bleaching agent, but also used in treating colonies for Varroa mites?
I think you were the first. Oxalic
Yes,
acid.
ma'am.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Sorry we went over
Thank you,
time.
Peter. Yeah, sorry for going over time. Oh, yeah.
All right, thanks.
We'll take a little
Yeah.
break and come back in
Yep,
about
no
5
problem.
minutes. And I'll be happy to take that.
Oh, thank you. I would have walked out with it too. Let me see if I can do it without disassembling it. Mine doesn't come apart.
I think it's squeezing. There you go. Awesome.
And I saw a bunch of people around like I'm like, guys, I haven't even had 3 weeks. Yeah, you can safety is still yeah. Well, so kind of it's different everywhere. You can see the difference. So it's not. And then I so this happened kind of. So you kind of know what it well, it's going to be with these first. So what's kind of I just thought that's really I put it out. She's in my vehicle. I don't see them on there. I kind of know what they're so that's different. Yeah, I felt she could stick next to well, that means it's hot. Yeah, because bees are now what
I'm not happy words.
Yeah, and yeah, just holler at us. But it's about 4 hours. I started teaching this about, let's say about 4 hours. No, 6 hours. Yeah, and if you have any questions, you can negotiate that class with me. So upset. Let us know right away and talk to you next. We got
Get started in a couple of minutes. Understood. So for the next part of our evening, we're going to do something a little different. We've done this before a few years ago, but it's been a while, so we figured, let's do it again. We're going to break into two different groups. One group is going to talk about dealing with swarms, and the other group is going to talk about hive products and honey and all those things that you would normally want to talk about, or any other subject that just naturally comes up. So let's see. Where do you want to be? You're gonna.
Do you choose one or you do both?
But first, you can. But first, I'm reminded that I can't remember anything because Vance would like to address the group.
Yes, I do. And I have pertinent and relevant information. Maybe not. How many people are currently using screen bottom boards? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I came across this. This is plexiglass, and it's clad with really thin sheets of aluminum on both sides. So it is really stiff and durable. It will work better than the corrugated plastic. And I cut them into 14.5 by 22, so they will fit in most screen bottom boards. So if you want one, I was going to do one per person. I've got 10 of them. So don't. Oh, well, sure, $100 a piece. No, my friend that was involved with this, I'll show you in a minute, came across them, and so we got to thinking, and I said, well, why don't we put them together and offer them to whoever is using screen bottom boards. The beauty is this will accept a Sharpie for making a grid, so you can count your mites. So whoever wants one, come up and get it. So well, it's plexiglass with
aluminum.
With aluminum, yes.
So is that a sign of what?
So I hope there's enough.
I think you're good.
They're a little heavy. Hi.
My old one. Yeah.
There you go. Watch it. It's kind of sharp. Okay, don't touch yourself.
Also,
The last one.
you can do barcode.
And yeah, just be kind.
I usually am.
I got the last one for you. Okay. Anybody else? There's one more. Yeah. And it's the most valuable one. Oh, okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Now, the other thing that I want to end this is very short. All of us beekeepers are by nature fixated on honey production and all that. But I would like for people to, when the opportunity presents, to look at what else bees will do. And by the way, this is a lesson for new beekeepers. When you give bees enough space in a hive, they will create burr comb. There was a spacer over this queen excluder that a certain beekeeper who will remain nameless didn't take out for a season, and this is what they created. And my friend and I built the frame, and he had the tools, and that's how we cut that stuff up. But the point is, there's more to bees than just honey. There is beauty that these animals create, and it wouldn't hurt any of us to take a moment in our hives and step back and realize the beauty that these critters can create just in the course of their lives. And so that's the object of this. It's not that this is third grade show and tell. It's just oftentimes we seem to pass over what else is going on in the hives. So I brought this to demonstrate that while we're all fixated on honey, other things are happening. So anyway, that's why I brought that to show.
Thanks, Vance. That's really cool. That's really cool. Because it was there.
Why did they make the bird comb? Because they can.
There was room.
Yeah, exactly. There was room. I love the fact they didn't follow the pattern of the frames above.
They did. They just, well, we'll go this way and this way and this way, and it's we claim to be beekeepers, but the bees are going to do what the bees want to do.
Yeah, and if you bring down, a tree comes down with a hive in it, and that comb is just folded over in on itself. It looks like a brain in there.
Yes.
It's not in these nice, perfect little rows.
Absolutely.
They just work with whatever they've got.
But in a lot of these voids between, you'll find they're a little wider than the classic 9 millimeters or 3/8 bee space. But there's also incidents where it's having measured, they're actually being honoring the bee space width between. And you new beekeepers, that was the secret that Langstroth found. He got his patent for replaceable frames, but the whole essence of it was he found that bees need 9 millimeters or 3/8 of an inch, depending on your ruler, which is the amount of space they need to be able to pass each other on frames between making their comb, so they can actually go up and down. And that's why the frames have that kind of shoulder on them to maintain that exact space between the comb. And as you get into beekeeping, you'll see how important that is. Okay.
Okay, thanks. That is really beautiful. So we're running a little bit behind, but we've had some really good things to hear and learn, so I'm not so worried about that. What we're going to do is break into two different groups, as I said before. We take about 15 minutes. One group is going to talk about dealing with swarms and what that entails and how to go about it, and the other is going to talk about hive products. Now, if you want to move between, that's fine, but at the end, at 15 minutes, we're going to come back and do like a 2-minute summary of each. So we'll just have that conversation and we'll go with that. So Tim is going to host the dealing with swarm section, and if you want to come to this side of the room and have that conversation, that'd be great. And I'm going to host the hive products section, and we'll meet over here. So let's all go to whichever side most interests us and see how that goes.
And experiment.
Areas are any questions?
Okay, so we got honey, we got beeswax, we got pollen. Also, what else?
Well, if you pick up the phone and call Larry, you say, here's the address.
Me personally, I'm not interested and then you put it.
I had my hives go into the tree, it was probably piece, so back then I still had to go get it down. So I can just sit there and look at it.
There's that. At least this is not fun. It's good for them. It's
I just
amazing.
figured around and see if they were all I find out.
But
One of my favorites is the driver house gas. You figure out how to do it, and you got some little jelly, every single vacuums and suck them down and put it into buckets.
Well, people do the flower sacrifice.
Is to get
Detailed.
New box.
All right, what else can we do with?
You can cut the branch off, they're very
Pollination.
They'll cut the branch off, and so here's kind of this. Which I can attest to you. I've had same people at least 3 years in a row call and say, hey, I'm
Definitely.
my yard, and there's somebody over here at Cherry Creek path, and I have.
We actually have a member of the
And he's in their little phone.
under the hives.
So yes, that is.
Correct.
Right
Well,
there.
this is another thing that people will pay money for. Like that, and you.
So right underneath this, sit down, and
DIA, and you see Warren's fields, right?
And then you can follow them.
I don't know if Warren is actually real name, or if that's the name of it. Everybody knows how to write.
And then follow them. They don't go very far.
He sells propolis, he sells.
If you can follow, so that's all.
You never go
DIA,
past
they have
some
some
purple trees and stuff like that, but I see, there's plenty of places.
Yeah. And he's all over the place. And he's like taking all this, he's like, okay, how do I turn that into a marker for spot? Right? So he's extremely good.
But as far as,
But in terms of the.
preventing,
there's a whole process of that, to make sure that they don't get that what do they have to have, what do bees have to have? What makes bees swarm?
Of course, people say, oh, good for that, good for me. They might use
There's not enough space for the queen to lay eggs. That can either be that because it has too small of lots, or there's too much brood, too much honey.
That's
Whatever
where
it
you're
is,
like, oh,
there's just not enough space. So there will always be a space.
So.
Otherwise, astronomy is a different reason.
Thing where. My choice are how you got some information. So the purpose of it's not.
I really
believe your body is reacting to it there and.
Well,
Yeah.
it's another belief. It's a fact that part of their chemical accidents. In the hive, and they would produce by sending this one out into the world. And so the solutions are right, they're going to swarm. Now, if you go in there and you're keeping track.
They don't harvest it then.
Taking down queen cells or whatever.
No, they just want
But
to
if you're
grow
also
bees.
around the lives, and if you just want to collect
Each
queen
one is
cells,
I ended up trying to figure out, let's figure out that is, you know, and then.
So in your hobby,
And
you see.
I just try every day, and the thing about it is,
You're doing a good job. I'm so happy.
I think I used to play the job when I got this huge
I used to,
I'm universe, but I got a great where all my things are, and I was gonna capture them.
Which is from the wax.
From the wax with the honey.
And
Oh,
they
wait.
swarmed it, and back into it, and back in the house, all right, well, let's see.
And
You guys are completely missing.
So,
and the best,
Internalized products.
those are all the different.
The women decide they're gonna swarm. Have you ever tried to change the woman's life?
Yeah.
as beekeepers, and not bee hackers.
We also do
Bee
that.
hacker, well,
I sold the first bee.
you'll have some people that say, oh, bee hackers are gonna have this. Every bees are gonna swarm.
I was talking
We
to,
gotta do our best to try to keep them
Dolly
informed,
about
because I will preach this because
when
I
picked up
get
the
so many
package
calls
for,
of bees that get
our
into
houses.
houses,
And say, hey, I gotta
homes,
apologize. I
walls,
sold something.
etc.
You didn't go to you.
Sometimes heartbreaking,
That's
to
great.
explain to
That's
them,
called sustainability.
we can't help
And
you.
you can provide your club members or community with bees that you bred yourself.
Yeah, well, columns
That
that
means is
in
you don't have to
Nebraska
bring in
County,
genetic
Castle
material from
Rock,
outside the state. or something.
Aurora,
You can
everybody
build
look
up.
at basement that has
Oh, I'm just here,
columns out
finding
there.
resources to get it from somewhere else. You can get hope. Everybody is that.
I mean, you talk to Lazarus or you those people that do extraction.
You can build up a
It's $800,
genetic base that's
$1,500
more appropriate
to
for
get
this
those bees
environment.
out. And that's not a
At
good
least that's what-
supplement back together.
Okay, so in terms of honey,
If your
that's liquid.
bees swarm into somebody else's colony,
Honey
not
products.
necessarily your fault, but it's our job to try and teach other beekeepers to cut their house.
That's where you take the,
That's my soapbox.
take a frame and literally cut it out.
I
And
think
then you take the wax
we're at
and
around
the honey and put it in
56
a package and
swarms
sell
this
it.
year,
So maybe you-
and probably around 40 extractions. Exactly what I didn't know that they had.
Have you seen the one that's super thin? Like so
Yeah.
rich. $7.
You're gonna call somebody else and say,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, well, you
Here,
can't
get some of the
So, last year, the honey festival, I
I
saw.
don't have a
for the very
beekeeper
first
who's gonna
time,
come and take your column
And I
apart, or
had,
take your walls
like,
apart.
Between 5 and 7 ounces.
It's sad.
I've got a contact with
And, I only had 4 of them. Like 5.
You need to
Call
take
me
out your price, because they're selling like an ounce.
to see if bees can be extracted.
Well,
So usually
You can call back
So
from me.
you also do a
Out
foundation.
of North Lisbon,
Foundation, that's.
2 stories up, the colony is established.
yes, you absolutely have to do
On the
foundation.
soft.
So here's how you do
I
it.
said, well, I'm not
Take
doing
a frame.
letters anymore.
Right? And that frame
I'm gonna ask
has an
them
air.
what to see
Because if
if
there's
they
plastic,
can
then you can't cut that out, so. that happens. So what
I
you do
can
is,
shoot you
what
a
I
phone
do
number too.
is
Certain safe
you've got
number
the
and she'll give you
ridge lines, where the plastic frame fits. In my case,
And if you
paint
are a
stores,
carpenter,
Home Depot.
if you can make good
And
living,
what's like,
up in our
I've
back,
got those
I
racks
think
on
there's
top.
all now. But yeah, that's like, no, it'll come
Either,
through. Tiny and,
totally left and right. Sometimes you put a wire in there,
but they raise
hold it,
11
but I didn't
kids.
do that. I just
And
left
that's what
it.
they do,
That's
it's
usually
just extraction.
Yeah, there's, I had all
There's a
the,
lot of money in it.
all of the beekeeper instructions.
There's also specialty ones, there's rust rounds and square claws and stuff like that, where they can make it in packaging, they can just close the packaging and sell the whole thing.
And Rocky Mountain Bee Supply has two versions of that. Round ones, and then there's a square one.
Anybody that wants any
Square one
swarms
is the first time this year.
this year, or anybody needs swarms.
So what happens is you put this in
They
the
usually
frame,
have
and
a
the wax on the
charge
top
of the
of
smart.
the bees will say,
That's you
"Hey,
this
this
year,
really
okay,
makes sense."
because I kept saying, no, I should.
So then they'll start drawing.
I should.
You have to do this where the frame next to it is already drawn out. The frame next to it is already drawn out.
We're kind
Because
of
if
at
not,
the
then
limit.
they'll come down and they'll just go all over the place. So if you want it to be nice and straight, you gotta put it in two drawn out frames.
Want swarms or?
When you do that, then you get a nice, perfect, bright, white wax with awesome.
So we talked, but I just walked.
And the key is, when it's ready, and then cap it. You kind of need to do
Yeah,
that.
I'm just starting out and I tried that one time,
Because
but like.
once, if you leave it in there, well,
Just
wrong with it,
Somebody just goes in there, numbers and emails, put a name in an email.
Well, they'll start harvesting it in the house. And then you don't want to sell that because people are calling product. They want that product fresh.
But yeah.
So anyway, take that.
Here's.
When you have this frame,
There's,
you have
there's certain
match
times
it up
of the
to your
day, I mean, most of the time
whatever
it's during the
package
hill.
you purchase. In my case, I have this little plastic
Those are the harder
time
times.
shells.
They usually start between 10 a.m. and 2.
And then,
But it usually takes a little while for somebody
they
to
actually sell some
unless
products
they
from
saw and
just
heard
a
them
chunk,
coming
and
in.
it'll make a
But between 10 and 2.
perfect little square, but it has to match your time sheet. Because if it's too big, then. So in my case, I have, match the time shells. So I took,
Oh, this one, you want?
Yeah, just starting this.
Actually experienced, I heard about it,
Again, can't think of the word, fishing line.
a couple years ago.
Fishing line. And I just took a fishing line, and I cut it
Took
down,
it to my
and
acre,
then,
put it in,
then I would,
put it in the
then I
hive,
started, and then I
and
cut the rest of it.
everything back together and ready to go.
And then I pick it up,
To me
and
twice,
put it in the,
that was the 4 years I've been doing
You know, cap.
They actually reswarmed while I was landing.
so that's.
And one thing Victoria does, and you got some metal, like, the very first one, I ever did, actually on this one,
Then I
there was a
realized
metal fence.
all the honey falls.
Basically, right behind where my,
So if all the honey falls out,
So you just started banging on it.
instead of like, really?
Yeah.
You're okay.
I just kept banging on it, kept it closer and closer to it. All of a sudden, it just kind of went about 10 feet over and landed on a little person.
It's called selling. They want to be able to go back with their knife, be able to pick it up and have everything in it, honey in every single.
Yeah. Well, you were.
So you don't want to have any of this stuff.
No, honestly, you can wait, reading it from or climbing,
Yeah, very first one, this is again, the reason why I have a nice fish.
if you get into it,
Like, months old.
yeah, just wooden
So
posts
if
down the way.
it goes in that direction.
Going in and all that stuff, I took it back, just basically took a couple frames, grabbed them, and had my jute box, got as many as I could, the rest followed. And I took it to one hive over, put it in there.
That's what you have.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you have, that's what you have a bottle of honey,
And
and you put a piece of comb in the bottle of honey.
I always try to get. Hopefully you have multiple hives.
Well, again,
A
people like to eat
frame
wax.
of open
And so this is a way to sell the wax
You take all these off.
without having to have special Special
Take a frame.
There is a way to bridge
box,
both
bring
these,
form.
that you can take mason jars,
And
put a little bit of wax in the
very
bottom,
good high
and have
success, 'cause I
like
had the
an
same
inner
problem
cover that you
with
cut out holes
now
for.
I'm kind of
They will draw the wax in there, and as soon as it's
In
capped,
there,
you take it out, fill it.
They get
So
that
you
serum and they.
You let them do that piece.
Once they're approved, then they stay. The things that I tell people,
Like on our website, because this is pretty
if
fast.
you swarm and you catch a swarm.
Do we have like a
It's
form?
best to move it, unless you
Make
can
a talking point on
frame
our
or
form
with
website.
Oh, it's best to, it's best to know somebody. Who's at least 3 miles, because a lot of times those bees know exactly where they're going when they come out, they already have it in there.
One of the topics.
They've sent scouts out, they know where they're going, they'll come out and they'll gather about 20, 30 feet away from the mother hive. Just to kind of make sure everybody's on the same page. But then when they go, they already know where they're going. So to take them, catch them right there, and put them down in another hive is to only just
You're delaying the.
you're delaying them, because we've had things where we have somebody who wants a swarm and the same, we catch them, but we don't think about the 3 mile thing, and we put them down in their hive, and it's like, oh, I wait from wherever we got it. But it was not enough to make them change their minds about where they wanted to go. So that's another thing, I always say, you know, unless you have really people, they want that, but, it's best to get it, at least come together, at least to
Bring this to a close.
and then you have the back to your information about the product.
Similar to the split.
Yeah.
Split.
Yeah.
You need to haul away or else they're gonna.
Oh my God, yeah.
So it's called the Food Safety.
Colorado County Troops Act.
Well,
Yeah, if you, well,
We're still.
there's many different ways of creating it. CSU does it, there's an online methodology. So CSU has an in-person class, and then they also have a class with
And
third party company that
prevent you from having
they're
more.
national. So
Then it's a method. of
everybody can
getting
say,
that
hey,
split
this is
ticket.
part of Colorado's requirements.
But
It's
being
costs
able
like
to get
$15 to $20.
a new
Online.
back and some future time.
And
The
Yeah.
problem right now, I'm wondering, I
Lose
was, I
some
think
of
we're
it.
in July, and
It's-
if they like stopped all the classes, because that's.
The whole intent
Pontiac,
was
that
to
the
bring
Congress
the,
had just passed, like, I saw on
sideline
the saying, just starting to, and I'm wondering if it's.
The biggest thing is their upping the dollar amounts that you can do.
they're meant to be to your benefit, actually.
Yeah, well, they just, they stopped doing any of the classes.
Right,
Because they didn't know, so now I think they're reopening, I'm wondering if it's gonna be like really.
So the in-person ones I couldn't say, probably, but the one that I took, twice now,
and
it's,
It was online.
online on demand, so it's like you just go through it and move through it.
Like a delayed train.
So, yeah.
Oh, yours wasn't live.
No,
When I did it, it's not mine, but they were live.
No, mine was just an online class.
Background. So that they just watch themselves go away and what do.
I don't really,
I have to
Honey,
swarm,
what?
otherwise you're going to swarm.
It sounds very interesting.
And what do I do?
Meat that's been distilled.
Hopefully, we're gonna have that.
Still beer, you get whiskey.
Right.
Still wine, you get brandy. Well, you distill meat, get honey shop. Or some people call it a class of eau de vie. And once you start distilling spirits, there are additional regulations.
Yeah, I was trying to split that.
Yeah, it's the best method.
Oh, okay.
I would say it's better, if you don't have the option, it's better than nothing.
Wait,
Say simple thing I did. I crushed up 6 cinnamon sticks. Put it in there and stir it around. Let it soak for a couple of months, and then you strain it out, and you have cinnamon. It tastes pretty good. So it just, like I said, just a bunch of cinnamon sticks.
Yeah, it's for, you can do that.
It's great, great toast.
You overpack the new split, that you move it into.
I have a feeling you'll probably go on a
Yeah. Nurse people will not go unless they get caught.
Alrighty. We're going to wrap up our breakout sessions. All right. So we had 2 breakout sessions. We'll take a minute or 2 to review and talk about So in our hive products discussion, we discussed all the different products that you could create from a hive. And then we discussed some of the different methods or different types of honeys that you could sell. And the most common one was liquid honey, obviously. And then we talked about cut comb honey, how to make cut comb honey, and chunk honey. And of course, there were all the other different hive products that you could create from a hive, including honey, beeswax, pollen royal jelly, brewed in the form of packages or nukes, pollination, bee venom, stinging, because people really enjoy that, and propolis. And Tim.
In our swarm session, we talked about number one goal is to try and prevent the swarm, but when they do, or if they just get a mind of their own, they're going to go off and swarm. How to capture those and where to put them, how to try to keep them there, add a frame of open brood to their new home so that they'll stick around. Got some new leads on some people that want to go and rescue some more swarms. So, and that was about it.
Cool. Thanks, Tim. How did you guys like the breakout sessions here? Awesome. We'll do a few more of those, I have a feeling. Okay, what do we got next? Now the question. Exactly. Vance needs some new crud cutter. Larry, you doing this? Yeah. Yeah, you probably want this.
Thank you. Let go, Mara, please. Thank you. So obviously we'd like a few stories. The crud cushion. Do we have the bottle?
We've got the bottle back there.
Somewhere in here. Okay. I think so. So obviously a great product for cleaning propolis and basically beeswax, anything bee product, cleaning your tools, cleaning your garage floor if you make a mess, or somewhere in the house wherever you're processing your honey. Great product. I think we had a video from Rust-Oleum at one point in time. They came out, I think Ann had them come out and do a video, and basically Rust-Oleum came out with 4 or 5 people, whole recording group and everything to do it. I think it's still on our website available if anybody wants to take a look at it. So we're looking at stories that are sometimes useful, sometimes embarrassing, whatever you choose to. So very early on, this is just an example, I'm not entering. When I first was figuring out how to keep my smoker lit. It's like, I tried a lot of things. And then I went in the house and I found a little bit of that little lighter fluid or something. Man, it worked great. Kept my smoker going, started up quick. I think I put a little too much in one time. I realized it, so I let it set for a long period.
You only did it one time?
Only one time. I think I learned from it. So I basically got my smoker, lit it, took off fine. I set it off to the side, and all of a sudden I saw a little bit more smoke than normal. Amazingly, it caught fire on the leather. So not a great thing. But 10 or 12 bucks, I can replace it. So I got away from lighter fluid.
You're coming with props.
Got to have them. So, any interesting stories? Anybody available? Vance, would you care to come up? We got a mic.
Right there.
So, I mentioned before, I've got a contact with a extermination company, part of the function as a property manager, and was asked to look at extracting a colony of bees from a soffit in a house down off of Bijou Gulf. And I looked at it, and it was going to require some carpentry. So I called Kenny Fuller, one, because he lives less than 2 miles away, but he's got a long history of construction. So I meet him, and he brings the scaffolding, which turns out doesn't have the crossbars to stabilize it. And have any of you ever tried to stand up in a canoe? Well, but we're professional, you see, so we don't let on. We're up on the scaffolding, and he's opening the soffit, and the bees are becoming very agitated. And I've got my hive vacuum all set, and it's turned on, and I'm ready. And he opens the soffit, and I'm going like this, and boy, there are a lot of bees here, and there are a lot of bees, and they're not going into the vacuum, and I keep going, and they're not going in, and it turns out not only did I turn it on correctly, but there's a drop just gate that I had failed to open. So, Kenny is now engulfed in bees.
You're not panicking because you're professionals.
No, we're professionals. I wouldn't dream of panicking. So a 2-hour extraction goes on to 7 hours because I finally got the port open, and now I've got bees. I have a plethora of bees. And I'm sticky, and I'm sweaty, and I'm tired, and I get home, and I've got a box of very cranky bees to the point where they're not going to invite me to their birthday party. So I put them in a hive body, in a deep, and I figure, all right, I'll put them in my apiary, which is an enclosed area. I'll put those in tomorrow. I'll give them overnight to settle down because the family was over and I was late for a barbecue and all of the other stupid reasons. I leave the hive body there just outside my garage. The next morning, the devastation was just incredible. I got visited by a bear. And so 7 hours, oh yes, a bear, in the city limits of Castle Rock. The bees are gone. The frames that I had in there, the box, are now kindling wood. And so the lesson to you new beekeepers is look your wife in the eye and say, I know we're supposed to be at this barbecue, but the bees need to be put in the apiary. You'll pay for it later. But so anyway, that was my story.
Okay.
And I didn't cry once.
What, did your wife help you get with,
Oh,
the,
no,
kin-
she
with the
did.
kindling? With the kindling later?
No, she just had her hands on her hips going, I told you so.
So, yes.
That's my story.
Okay. The I told you story with the bear. Yes,
My daughter's getting one, so I'll tell the story.
here we go.
So I don't know, this is a couple of weeks ago now, and I have a walkout basement, and I store all of my bee equipment in this, like in our utility room, and there's a door that goes like out to the backyard, out to my garden area and stuff. And my son called me. I was sorting some frames and debating what I was going to do with them, and I had put some outside the door. And my son said, "Hey, I need a ride from the bus." So I was like, "Oh, I'll be there in a minute." And I went running off, ran down to get him, and I came back and thought, well, I'll deal with this tomorrow. And I forgot I left the door open to the utility room. So you see where this is going, right? So the bees found the frames outside, and then they were like, oh, and I have all my starts for my plants in there, like tomato plants with blossoms on them. And so all of a sudden I hear this humming noise, like while I'm in our little half bath that's upstairs that has the ventilation to the basement. I'm like, what is all that noise? And I see bees going by the back of the house. There was like, I don't know, 30, 50,000 bees in our utility rooms. And I told my kids, I'm like, nobody open the door to that room until I figure out how I'm going to get them out.
Oh, no.
So I waited till it got dark. And then I took the smoker in the house and I'm smoking out the entire room to try to get them out.
Wow.
It was a long project and it was late by the
You're
time.
supposed to help me sleep at night.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, until one of my children let them in the house or something. So no, they did all mostly with the exception of a few. And then I had the bee brush and I'm trying to gently like
Catch
collect
'em.
bees and send them back outside.
All right.
So moral of the story is do not leave the door open where you keep the frames.
There you go. Here, here. Thank you. Any other educational moments? We want to go with the, okay. Pete?
Not nearly as exciting. So everybody makes mistakes. I guess I'm in everybody. So last couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh, I was making a nuke. And I was like, okay, I've got this hive, I got that hive, I've got this one. I'm taking frames from different hives, putting them together, making certain everything works. Yay. I'm trying to make absolutely certain that this nuke that I'm putting together is healthy, viable, and has all the right resources to go to the person that I'm going to sell it to. So I'm focused on that nuke. I'm focused. Okay, great. Anyway, I deliver the nuke. The customer's happy, and later I find out that the installation worked very nicely, and everything worked well. So next week I go back to my apiary, and I'm opening up different hives, doing inspections, and I open up and I'm like, oh my! And then I realized that one of my hives is missing 3 frames. Like, oh crap! I didn't finish the job. I didn't put in the empties that needed to replace it. I didn't move the since I'm taking the queen out of the nuke that I had there, the 1D 5 framer that I had. I didn't do a proper split. And so they're like, okay, there's a bunch of bees on 2 frames and they got a lot of honey and nothing else. There's no brood, there's no queen, there's no nothing. I'm like, oh my goodness. So, but along the lines of Vance's wax, they decided to build a really beautiful looking structure in that open space that was there. I'll show you pictures of it later if you want to see. Anyway, it was small but very very beautiful. And so I do, but they're not up there. They're on my phone. So later I'll show you if you want to see. Anyway, long story short is I learned the lesson that you have to finish the job that you start, and hopefully don't discover that you didn't finish it for a whole week.
Okay. Very good. So, the incomplete nuke job, per se. Okay, anyone else? Okay, that being said, let's go ahead with a round of applause. I'll make a decision on the best applause that I hear. We'll start off with Vance. With the extraction gone well, somewhat, and the wife pursuing the party and the firewood that enabled from the bear. If we can have a round of applause. And then we have the utility room with the nuke box full of bees and how to get rid of them. Was there not a back door? Just the one utility?
The door that leads that goes outside.
Okay. Gotcha. But yeah, you wanted to make sure you had them and kept them. Come here for that. Okay. And Peter. Sorry. With the incomplete nuke job. Okay, we've got a winner, I believe, over here. Okay. Here. Thank you.
Fantastic. And we also have a wonderful thing. The Golden Bee Award. So the Golden Bee is presented to a member of our club who has performed services to the benefit of the club that helps us out one way or the other. It doesn't matter exactly what they do as long as it results in a good, wonderful experience for somebody, somewhere, something. Could be any service provided. This month's winner is Dior. I would like to present to you the Golden Bee. We'll give you this too to go with it. So Dior operated a booth and had lots of people come visit, and she helped people understand more about bees, and it was great outreach.
And honey tasting.
And honey tasting. So that worked out great. You see, very photogenic. Excellent picture. Now, next month, you have to bring it back so that we can give it to the next person. And next up is the raffle.
Okay. Have all our tickets here. Go ahead and pull your ticket out. Let me show you what we've got this time. We have some plant markers. We have this adorable beekeeping doll. Isn't it cute?
It's a gnome.
It's a gnome. It's a beekeeping gnome.
Doesn't have its tools with it.
What'd she say?
Doesn't have a tool.
Doesn't have its tools with it.
Oh, yeah, true. We have a hand towel. Advice from a bear. Take care of your honey. Or your frames, as the case may be. This is a style of feeder that goes inside. So you set it on top of the, let me start over. You put the inner cover on, you set this on top of the hole so they can get to it. You put your jars, 2 jars of syrup in there, and then you put deep around it.
If you probably leave it outside, the bears probably get it.
That's right. Don't leave it outside. We have this cute kids beekeeper veil. Yeah. We have a honey skep, which is a honey jar with an additional little jar of honey and a dipper. And then we'll put all the tickets back in and we'll draw for this one, so everybody has a chance to win this. If you haven't read it, let me read it to you. Caution, this area is used to breed varroa mite, small hive beetles, and wax moth. Any honeybees flying about are incidental to this program. Please use caution so as not to disturb these pests and predators. Great sign, but if you use it outside, the letters will come off. They are stick-on letters, so it might be one of those things you keep inside. True. True. So I guess it would be a message for those people who come into your house. Okay. I'll read the last three numbers. 608.
608.
Mm-hmm. We'll save this one for last. Anything else there? You can take. Okay, thank you. Oh, oh yeah, I tore it in half, but you need to keep it. In case you remember the last one. Okay, next one, 617. Anybody? All right, Dior. Good job. You can pick any of those things there. Yeah, the jar of honey goes with that. There you go. I keep forgetting to have them draw the next one. 629. Nope. 633. All right, John. There you go. Okay. 609. Anybody? No? 612. Yay! You can keep your ticket for the last prize.
Oh, thank you.
631. No? Gotta take care of the baby first. That's fine, just keep those. Okay. You have the gnome or the feeder? And 614. No? I'm putting John to sleep. 604. Come on. I thought I mixed them really well. All right, 598. Yay! Okay, so I'm gonna put those tickets back in here, mix again, for whoever gets this great sign. And the sign goes to 617.
I didn't get to put me back.
Oh, no, I had yours. I had the other half to yours. Yeah. 617. All right, Larry. Good job. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.